Hi, everyone. Are you able to hear me? Please respond to my questions using the chat. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful to have everybody in this session. And let me just, okay, great, great. So this is one. And let me also try to see. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. So great, great. And all right, all right. Hi, everyone. Now, feel free to ask questions as much as possible. With me, it's myself and there's Sachin, and we would love to answer your questions. And I'll walk you through the basic terminology, like what are the terms, what are the various keywords or phrases, what are their meanings, and so that you basically become comfortable with all these new terms with respect to this new era of technology. Okay. And let me see how come people are not able to. Okay. I see. Thank you so much for letting us know that only attendees can chat. Now, okay, great. I have changed the setting for everyone. Thank you, Emmanuel, for letting me know. Okay, okay, wonderful, wonderful. I'll try to keep the session as interactive as possible. Okay, and there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, all right. So first of all, welcome to this session on data science and AI exploration. And we will go, we will talk briefly about CloudxLab, then what exactly is data science, what is machine learning, what is AI, and we also talk about applied AI on scale. We also talk about briefly about the models. So then this session is going to be around 2 hours, If there are more questions, we will stay more than 2 hours. If there are less questions, we will hang up before that. Except for myself, everybody is on mute. And please use Q&A/chat for asking questions. Don't worry, the recordings and slides will be shared after the session, but feel free to take a screenshot, write a blog around it, tweet around it, or share on it with your friends. Feel free to do that. And the certificate of participation for the webinar will be provided on the successful submission of the attendance form. That will be shared with all of you in the chat or the comment window. Okay, wonderful. I hope everybody is, on the same page. Great, great. All right, so give me, just say thumbs up or a smiley, everyone. Please post a smiley on the chat. Okay, let me see who all are listening or, okay, nice, nice. Okay, nice to see such a great attendance and wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for so many smileys. And yeah, and thumbs up. Thank you so much. Great, great. So I'll keep my terminologies and words to be super simple so that everybody comes on the page. And then we will basically, by the end of this session, you will become comfortable with most of the terminologies and so on. Okay, so you can ask the question at any point of time, and please feel free to ask as many questions as possible. I will take intermittent breaks to answer your questions. Okay. Yeah. My team will basically try to answer the question. Otherwise, they will keep the questions for me. All right. And yeah. Okay. Let me just, okay. Okay, let's just start with the question answers itself. There are quite a few questions in the beginning itself. So let me start with the question. First question is, yeah, is the session recorded? Yes. And you will be shared with an attendance form and in the chat. Please feel free to fill that so that you get the recording. A question from Jayendra is, at which age should we basically start coding? Okay. Yes. My understanding is that as this question is very hard, first of all, it has taken me a long time to, explore this part. I believe that when the kid is in 7th grade or 8th grade, they can start coding, but they have to do it like a fun, not like a pressure. It should be done like a fun. Like, for example, kids can code in Scratch to build a game, or they could also do, let's say, design games in Roblox Studio. That's Roblox, Roblox Studio, and or Scratch. Okay. So what I honestly feel, it's a very personal question that you have asked. What I honestly feel is that um, like earlier, we never knew that programming will become this prominent. So we did not focus on learning programming at early age. But no matter what is your age, you should make yourself acquainted, okay? Because almost everything is being done with the coding itself. Those who wonder that, okay, coding can be done with ChatGPT or other AI tools, it's not true. When you are building a large system or a bigger script or bigger purpose, you will get individual components built or the first version of it built with ChatGPT, and then you fine tune it to solve your problem. But to fine tune and make sure that it is not wrong, it is solving the purpose, you got to know coding basically. So no matter what is your age, as long as you are above 6th, 7th grade, you should basically get into coding, right? And if you are starting now, I would say just start with Python. Python is easy to start with. And once you become comfortable in expressing your logic in Python, you can very comfortably move to any other programming language. Okay. So the more important than a particular programming language is that it is, you learn one programming language, you know all programming languages, right? It takes long time to become good at expressing logic, writing logic, converting your thoughts into logic. But it takes a very short time to sift between programming languages, right? So that'll be my suggestion. Okay. Now, that was one question. Next is, okay. All right. And Okay. Now, what are the requirements to learn machine learning? Because I want to become a machine learning engineer, right? So a question is, what are the requirements to learn machine learning? For learning machine learning, I would say that become comfortable with code. Even though many frameworks don't require coding, like for example, Azure ML, there's a Azure ML Studio where you can drag and drop and create the machine learning flows, right? But in my personal experience, even if you do not use Azure ML Studio, you should become comfortable with code. That way, your thought process will be very much aligned with most of the studios. Okay. So for learning machine learning, just get acquainted with basics of coding, and then, just jump into it. Although many people say that you have to learn statistics first, coding first, then, linear algebra first, this and that. I think you can just jump into it, and you will basically be able to handle it. Okay. In the meantime, if you're just a beginner, I would strongly recommend this sequence of videos that we are making. It's called Ancient Secrets of Prediction, CloudxLab. Okay. So if you're just beginning, this could be very useful to you. Okay. So you could try this. Okay. So this is a sequence of videos. There'll be more videos coming. Okay. So this is something that you can start with, as well as if you are starting. I recently published, end-to-end project. This one. Okay. So this is another, very good read that you should do. Okay. It's pretty useful for, sorry, I'll just need to copy this. I pasted somebody's questions. Okay. All right. I hope that answers your question. So I would say that, just get started. Don't wait for you to finish. Although traditional wisdom has been that go for coding first, statistics, then linear algebra, and all that complex maths. Instead, I would say that don't wait. Just jump into it. Just jump into it. And if you get stuck, walk backwards and go study a concept, come back, and then you keep on rolling. That's why we designed this kind of a flow. Okay. So this will basically get you started. Otherwise, you will be lost in studying all kinds of things, and you will never be able to come back to the speed. Okay. So go through this particular one. Specifically, this is very hands-on and, a project whereby you solve problems. So this recently we published it. It has got quite a few learners already. So make yourself super comfortable with it. And yeah, let me also share with all of you this. Okay. That's my, suggestion to everyone to go through it. Okay. Of course, in case you get stuck, please join our courses, which will help you go deep dive. If you go to CloudxLab, there are a couple of courses that you will like, and join me in those courses where I would walk you through. Along with IIT Roorkee professors will walk you through chapter by chapter. Okay, because machine learning is a big subject. Like having a good understanding takes time. Therefore, we have designed this course, which takes around 6 months of time. And that way you become really proficient with it. Okay. All right. Now, A question from Tanuja is, okay. Tanuja's question has been answered by Sachin. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is something a very important question. Thank you, Sachin. You have said it correctly. So during my BTech, I did my graduation in chemical, but I spent all my time in studying computer science. And I think computer science is something that can be, or you can say that is only learned by self-practice. It doesn't require a college degree. And no, companies don't care too much about your college degree. Okay. All right, wonderful question. A question from Vijay is, I completed my 12th with bio maths. What should be the first programming language should you learn? Okay, you can just start with Python. Okay. No matter, irrespective of what your background is, if you're beginning, I would say go with Python. There are a couple of reasons. Number one, it's pretty simple to get started. Second, it has got the wide spectrum of libraries. You can do game programming with it. You can build web applications. You can do scientific computing with it. You can do machine learning. You can do deep learning. You can do AI. You can do music. You can do, movies. You can do all kinds of things with Python. You have all sorts of libraries that basically give you this enormous power at your fingertips. Okay, so I would say that just get started with Python. Once you know how to, once you become comfortable with a language, you can just move to any language very quickly. Okay, good, very good questions. All right, okay, so moving on. Wonderful. About myself, I graduated from IIT Roorkee. I worked on large-scale computing. I'm a software engineer at heart. I have been working with Amazon in Moby, DShaw, in the large-scale computing. Like you can, like like for example, at Amazon, my role was to, the Amazon.com's mobile app from which you do the buy now, right? Where you have the page. That's what I owned at Amazon, and the mobile version of it. And then, so these are large scale systems that we have to design, and then afterwards, I basically, since I love technology and I love explaining technology, I started CloudxLab, and we have had wonderful success in, we have more than 500,000 users across the globe. And right now I'm heading AI at DevRev because I love the technology field. So essentially, this is my, this is my curve. I started my career in 2002. And so you can say that I have practically 21 years of experience in the technology. All right. At CloudxLab, the vision is to upskill engineers, everyone from every background, and make them employable and future ready. And so one of the very important thing that has, the secrets behind the success of CloudxLab is this playground. On the left-hand side, you will see the, the prompt statement. On the right-hand side, you will see the playground. And once you solve the problem on the right-hand side and click on the submit answer, when you solve the problem in the playground and you submit the answer, it'll give you the points. And this is the reason why our completion rates are in 90%, while everybody else has completion rates in single digit. Okay, and just sign up for CloudxLab. All of these things are almost free. You can just start using today. And on CloudxLab, the great part is that you get the lab for free. You can just start tinkering around the lab, whatever you want to build, whatever you want to code, whatever project you want to work. All of those libraries, those softwares or libraries are already installed there. You can just try using. It's more like real world when you go and join a company and you have to solve a problem. Usually, the entire servers are on the cloud. Say, for example, on Amazon Cloud or Microsoft Cloud and so on. So this is very real. Like this is how work happens in organizations. So at CloudxLab, you can build your own profile. You basically, whatever you're working on, based on that, your profile keeps on getting updated, and people can message you, and that way recruiters can reach out to you. Okay. So, I mean, this is how many recruiters and many people get a job from CloudxLab. They whatever, as they are working on various exercises, their points keep on going up. And when recruiters are visiting and searching for people with high scores, they can basically send a message and get connected to the individual. Okay. Then there are jobs and so on. Then there is an exam. Basically, you give a test, we do the job matching, and you get placed. Okay. So you have to take an exam. We call that placement eligibility test. All right. Let me see if there are any questions before we start. On an average, at which age can we become a freelance coder with a career? So good part about the freelance coder is if you can solve a problem, you can solve a problem, as simple as that. Okay. So if you are coding, learn to build a website, learn to build a web app. There's a huge demand in that. And using Python along with, say, front-end libraries could help you a lot. Okay. And but with respect to the data science, you need to pay, you need to learn the entire flow. Okay. You can enroll into any of our courses, or you can follow the blog that I shared before. All right. So a question from Rohit is, yeah. Question from Jayendra is, on what age at what age can we become a freelance coder with a career? Okay. Usually, it all depends on a number of things. Number one, if you are doing freelancing, then you can, even without graduation, without a graduation degree, you can become a freelance programmer or coder, right? But if you are aiming for high-tech jobs, you got to have some graduation degree, whether BSc, BTech, BE, even BCA or BPA, or even any graduation degree is sufficient. Okay, so you have to have that, you have to have graduation when you are applying for private jobs. But freelance, there is no age limit. It's all up to you, how good you are in the subject. That's all. Okay. So that might take a year or 2 years to become really good, and or maybe for some people it's like 6 months. They day and night they go through all the technology, become good at building website, building this, building that, and then they can just get started. Okay. A question from Rohit is, I'm from statistics background. Please tell me how I should focus on coding such that it gives very good understanding. I would say that try solving more and more problems, and take a look at the problem statements that are there in our Python course. The more comfortable you become, the better you'll get. All right. So that would be my suggestion. But there are lots and lots of these coding contests and so on. You can try those as well. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So let's start with a simple thing called data science. What exactly is data science? There are so many, things around, data science, and it's a very, very big domain. Okay. Data science is interdisciplinary fields that uses, in the field, people use scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structured and unstructured data. Okay. And basically, that encompasses almost every technology. So data science is essentially an overlap of mathematics, computer science, statistics, information science, and domain knowledge. Okay, so it's an overlap of all of these. Okay, but don't worry, there are full gradient, or there are all sorts of personas in the data science. Like some people are okayish with statistics and maths, but they're good with computer science. Some people are okayish with computer science, but they're good with maths, statistics, and information, and like domain knowledge. So it's basically every person is different, but basically data science is a bit of all of these combined together. Okay. All right. So data science is essentially the science around data. And science is what? Making sense of things, or understanding or sensing the world around you and understanding it, right? So data science is all about understanding data, and whether it's structured or unstructured. The term that comes again and again, what is structured, what is unstructured? Usually the data in tabular form with very, like, you must have seen Microsoft Excel, right? It has spreadsheet where there are columns and there are rows, and each column has the same data type, like one column dedicated for age, other column dedicated for, let's say, date, other column dedicated for text, and so on. So when you have the same, like, properly structured, defined for a data, we call that structured data. Okay. If your data doesn't have a structure like this, like for example, photograph, the data is in the pixels, it's not really a tabular form. That's unstructured data, right? Or let's say the data in the comments right now, like in the comments, the data is in the form of text. So that's unstructured data. All right. So I hope you got the picture of what exactly is structured, unstructured, and data science is around handling structured and unstructured data so that we can make sense out of it. All right. All right. Before I proceed with machine learning, let me take up a couple of questions. There are a couple of questions here. Can data science be self-learned? Can we get it by books and YouTube? Yes, just like everything else, if you have a good commitment and understanding of the fundamentals, it can be self-learned, but it requires a good commitment. Okay. And I mean, there are videos, there are books, and so on, right? But if your fundamentals are not very strong, and you are losing track, or you're not able to, dedicate time to study through, in those cases, joining a course, it makes sense. A question from Harish. I have done BSc in physics. I have done BSc in physics and have no previous knowledge of programming. Can I still get into data science and become employable? Of course, yes. Okay. I would say if you go into details, okay, everybody in computer science is from different backgrounds. Okay. If you have heard about a person named Dijkstra, okay, he basically gave multiple algorithms, right? So he did his graduation in physics, okay? And at that point of time, he did not have at that point of time, there was no such thing called programmers. Okay. And he was, he went to his professor and was saying that, see, is it even a career? Why am I leaving physics background? And why am I, you know, spoiling my career by leaving physics and getting into programmer while it doesn't exist? So his professor told him that it's a career in making. Either you build this career and be the leader in it, or you go back to physics. So interestingly, when he was getting married, Dijkstra was getting married, who was a physics graduate. And he went to, like in the church, when they registered the marriage, they did not have the drop down. They did not have the, not drop down. They did not have that, option called programmer as a profession. Okay. And they rejected that programmer as a profession. And they wrote, a theoretical physicist against his name. Okay. And quite a few inventions in computer science are done by Dijkstra. Okay. So yes, you can start. That's the beauty about computer science. It accepts everyone. There are basically lots and lots of dimensions for everyone. And it doesn't require too much of, you know, too much of knowledge in the field. You can always start. Okay. And there is a lot of demand in the field. Okay. So I hope, Harish, I was able to answer your question. Okay, a question from Kushal is, I am dropped out from PCA degree 5 years ago. Can I opt for AI program and have a successful career? Yes, yes. I have met quite a few people in that. Okay. And thanks to the open world now, everybody is open for, even if you do not have a degree, a graduation degree, quite, some companies are open for it. Okay. But if you have an option, complete the degree, that would basically improve your chances in general. But if you don't get disheartened. There are a lot of opportunities right now. Okay. All right. Question is, I have a BCom graduate. It has been 12 years that I completed my graduation. Now I run a restaurant. Can I still do the switch? Interesting. Yeah. So probably this question would have been very difficult for me if somebody asked it like 5 years ago. And people did ask me this question, same question 5 years ago. At that point of time, I was not, my answer was different. Today, my answer is very different. Today, my answer is that I have met many people who are BCom graduate running the restaurants. Yes. But some of my students were running the restaurants. Okay. And I salute them. They have, one particular person, I don't want to name her. She is she was running this restaurant and attending my course. And I'm super happy that she has learned so much. And now she is, appearing for interviews. She got shortlisted in a couple of those. And since now many companies, specifically IT services companies, are focusing on tier 2, tier 3, and non-mainstream engineers, people are able to land a job in these companies. Okay. So I would say it's all a function of how hard you try. It's all a function of how much you know. And there are a lot of hopes in the game in today's world. Okay. So, and you can do all of this without leaving what you're doing right now. Okay. All right. A question from Jayendra is why and how did you choose this path? Okay. To be honest, I'll be very, very honest today. Somebody has asked this question after a long time. So when I joined college in 1999, 1998, I got very interested in computers. And even though my branch was chemical engineering, I did not look back. I just kept on learning programming, learning systems, learning all kinds of things. And I've not looked back. It was just an obsession and that turned into a profession. Okay. So this is how I ended up in being a software programmer by choice, by obsession, not by very thought out reasoning. Okay. I just liked it and I kept on going with it. Okay. And I do not regret it. It's probably one of the best decisions I took in my life. Okay. And a question is, how much time does it take to learn a programming language like Python? Okay. Good question. Good question. Okay. So even though few books claim that it takes 24 hours to learn programming, but there is a gradient, it's not 0 or 1. It's a decimal number. It's a gray, right? Some, right? Some people have practiced programming for 1 month. Some have work for a couple of months and so on. And I mean, there is no end to it. Okay. But you can be really good with programming in probably 1.5 months of time. If you dedicate really well, try solving as many questions as possible, try converting your thoughts into code, you'll become really good in 1.5 months. Okay. If you just get into it. Okay. A question from Kushal is that, do you believe AI will be able to replace humans any soon? I think it's not that, right? If let's say, I think if it's a death of one profession, it's a birth of new. Okay. If one window closes, another door opens. So it's like that. It's like it's only, the purpose of working is to help each other or solve each other's problems so that they can pay you, right? And I mean, they will pay you only if you help them, right? So at the end of it, it's all a matter of, figuring out how to use the AI and other tools to solve people's problems and do it smartly. I think there's a lot of space to solve people's problem. Like there are so many different and difficult problems out there. So the more you can solve, the more rich you will get. And it's as simple as that. Okay. So AI would not really replace, it'll just help us solving people's problems, or it'll help us in better serve people and each other. And it'll basically, it is not the AI who will replace it. Basically, those who learn about new technologies, they will basically replace those who don't want to learn. Okay. It's as simple as that. Those who are rigid and have, the mental block that I don't want to learn this, I don't want to, this is not something that I would like to do now. Those people will quickly become obsolete in many ways. Okay. So it's not AI that will do, it's basically people who want to learn versus who don't want to learn. Okay. I think that's true even in non-AI cases, right? That if somebody doesn't want to learn and improve, they want people to do. Okay. I hope I was able to answer your question. These questions are very hard, and I may not be able to do justice to such a big question in such a short time. A question from Neer is, after reading Kevin Murphy's book, I'm having immense interest in advanced machine learning. How can I proceed ahead? Take a look at those links that I posted. I would strongly recommend you that you join my course. We run these machine learning courses, and those courses are really, really deep. And like basically the course is entirely focused on deep learning. Why I say entirely focused? Because the machine learning we learn so that we can learn deep learning. Okay. So the core machine learning, the statistical machine learning we learn so that we can understand the deep learning. And basically, I mean, the course that we run usually is one of the deepest course in India and is one of the most contemporary. Okay. And it's for beginners. A question is that I am an agricultural mechanization engineer and I want to start coding so that I can do automation and electrification, right? Where can I start from and how do I apply coding to do that in automation? Very good question. Very good question. So see, just make yourself comfortable with programming. Go to our CloudxLab. There is a subscription you can take and start learning from Python, Linux, and the basics and fundamentals of it. And then once you are done with it, you will see that all those tools that are needed in agriculture mechanization, you will be able to just use them with Python or any other programming language. So I think that should be your strategy. And I think the biggest leverage you will get is just by till finishing basics of machine learning and finishing Python programming language. So I think you will know what to do, honestly. I never had to explain this to anyone. And like, for example, somebody from HR background, he came to me earlier. He said that, hey, how will I utilize knowledge of machine learning into HR? I said, learn it, you will be able to figure out. And he learned it and he did figure out and he did wonderful. He built this model where he was predicting what are the parameters that are impacting people's learnability. And that was a very successful project. Then there was another person who came to one of my courses. He said, I am a mechanical engineer. I work on a ship. And I basically do this inspection of the ship. And how will your course help me? Right? So I said that, trust me, you will be able to figure it out. And he did. He came and he said that, see, he finished my machine learning course, and then he came up with this wonderful project whereby what he did was looking at all kinds of parameters of ship, specifically the sound and other things, frequency. He was able to predict the remaining life of a ship. Okay. And that project became really, really popular in his organization. They even patented it. And he's essentially, earlier he was basically roaming around the ship, taking readings and measurement. Later, his role became more about the research around this data. And that's what knowledge changes you. The purpose of knowledge is a tool to figure out where to apply it. If you gain the knowledge and you do not know where you can apply it, the chances are you have not learned it. You have memorized it. Purpose of learning something is you should know where to apply it, right? If you learn only one small thing, let's say you learn only how to use hammer, and you start thinking of everything as a hammer, that's also not right, right? But if you know the entire, spectrum of ideas, spectrum of like this tool, that tool, and so on, and you also get to know, you also learn how to build a new tool, And that's what is needed. That's what is needed. Because earlier in previous era, people were focused on using tools, right? Now, every engineer, every researcher is just trying to figure out how to create new tools, right? And for creating new tools, you need things like programming. You need things like, because if you think of it, every piece of code is a tool, right? Every piece of code is a tool. I will have to pause my screen for a moment. Yep. All right, wonderful set of questions. I hope this answer that I gave is helpful to you. And yeah, I'll really appreciate you if you guys can give me a thumbs up, and that'll tell me whether I'm doing good or bad. Okay. All right. All right. I mean, all right. Thank you, Benita. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Preeta. Ajay. All right. So yeah. Wonderful. Now, okay. All right. We'll continue from here. And now, let's move on. And next, let me cover a couple of more definitions and then come back to your questions. I have seen your questions. Now, let's move on. Now, the next important thing after data science is machine learning, right? This is something that, very, very important to know. Okay, please pay attention. Who's not heard about machine learning before? Okay, it's not a machine language. It's a machine learning. I have seen many people, really senior people, calling it machine language. No, we're talking about machine learning right now. Okay. So it's a field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. Okay. That's the definition. And it's a perfect definition by Arthur Samuel, one of the forefathers of machine learning. Now, it's essentially, so earlier days, people used to code up things, right? Like if let's say you're building this email spam filter, right? You will yourself code. If the subject line contains this, mark it as spam. If it contains this and is from here, you create these rules and logic from hand, which takes your entire life, and still, it is incomplete. Right. And the day spammers figure out that, okay, you're blocking these keywords, they come up with new keywords. Okay. Now, that kind of spam filter in email would not work. It would not work, right? Therefore, people came up with a better and more interesting way. They gathered lots of emails from all over the internet, marked them as spam, not spam, spam, not spam. Now you have lots of email which are marked as spam, lots of email that are marked as not spam. Now, we trained a machine. We converted these emails into a bunch of numbers. Okay, right? That's basically converting this text into numbers is a big art and has been going on for quite some time. And so they converted this text into a bunch of numbers and then trained the machine learning model, or you can say mathematical models, to come up with a correlation between the numbers that are representing email and the label called spam or not spam, right? So essentially, people build these machine learning models which learned from the data in order to do the prediction. Correct? So that's exactly is the machine learning. Nobody is writing the rule that if this number is this much, this number is this much, then it is a spam and so on. No. We are letting the algorithm figure out all that logic. Okay. Now, I want to show you with a real world example. Let's take a, let me show you this cool thing called Mario. I'm sure you must have played Mario, right? I'm sure that you must have, won the princess and you learned by yourself, correct? And do you think a computer can learn to play Mario by itself, exactly the way you learned to play Mario, right? Can the computer learn to play Mario by itself, just like you learned? Okay. So somebody automated it, right? So basically they ran this program inside a virtual emulator, and the program was pressing keys. And observing what's happening on the screen. Is my score going up or down? So it basically was pressing keys in order to increase the, score. Let's just look at it. So here, what you see is it's a day 0 of playing the game, right? Computer is pressing the keys randomly, observing whether score is going up or not, and it dies of old age because it doesn't know how to increase the score. Now, after a couple of more days, it has started to learn to move. You see that? It has started to learn to move, and it has done it by itself. It just trying to figure out those keys to press so that the score can go up. But again, it dies of old age. It doesn't yield anything good. Now, a few more weeks of learning, and it is able to play well. It has started to increase the score as it is playing. So right now it's 400 score, and it has started to gain some idea. Do you think he'll cross it? I think he should cross it. See, he's playing the computer, or he or she, the computer is playing like me, and it is stuck. Oh, nice. It has learned to jump these. Now, amazing part is that all of this is learned by itself. It is able to increase its score by pressing keys now, right? So it has learned by playing over and over again, gathering data, and now you're going to see something amazing. Okay. There, it's there. When the Goomba is falling, it starts moving downwards. You see that? The Goomba is falling, it starts moving downwards, and the game is thinking that the Mario fell on Goomba, not Goomba fell on Mario. So it exploited a bug in the game. Now you're going to see another bug being exploited right now. There. You see that? I have no idea how did he figure that out. I've been able to do that. You're going to see another sign of intelligence when it's not able to figure out what to play next. It is pausing the game. It is pausing the game like the way we did when we were kids, and you're losing the game, we would just spoil the game and run away so that we don't lose. Okay. When we have no way to lose, we basically spoil the game and, retain our score. Okay. All right. So that was it. So this is machine learning from the data, from past experience of playing the game. It learned to play the game. It built its rules by itself by looking at the data. This is machine learning from data. All right. So, well, you can say experiences. And all right, the other thing that is important right now to describe is what exactly is AI, artificial intelligence, right? You must be seeing this AI, ML interchangeably be used, but what exactly is the difference between the AI and machine learning? Okay. So here's a definition given by John McCarthy long back. And it's essentially, the AI is all about these sub-objectives, okay? In simple words, I will talk about AI. Essentially, AI is all about achieving human-like intelligence. The methodology could be many, right? AI is an objective, and machine learning is a way to achieve AI, is one of the techniques or one of the part of the techniques to achieve AI. AI is the objective, and hardware or software are the means to achieve it. So AI, to achieve AI, to achieve the intelligence like humans, you need two kind of things. One is software, other hardware, right? Under hardware, you will have like all kinds of things like being able to move the wheels, the motors, the sensors, these IoT setup, and so on. IoT means Internet of Things. So all kinds of things you need here. Okay. On the other side, the software side, you see, on software side, you basically could be using standard rule-based programming where the human programmer is writing the logic like, if this, then do that, if this, then do this 100 times, keep on doing this until something happens, and so on. So basically, the software could be rule-based, or software could be the logic could be automatically built using machine learning from data. And a part of the machine learning is called deep learning, where we use the deep neural network or complex algorithms to solve the problem or to do the prediction. So artificial intelligence is achieved using software and hardware. Software could be rule-based, software could be based on data using machine learning or deep learning. Okay, I hope this diagram gives you a clarity on what exactly is AI and what exactly is machine learning and what exactly is deep learning. Now, your question could be, where is data science? Actually, the data science is all of this part. Actually, the software side is mostly around data science. Okay. All right. So give me a thumbs up if you liked this diagram, if you are clear about what is AI, what is machine learning, what is data science, what is deep learning, what is rule-based programming, what is software, hardware, what exactly is, right? I hope you're clear about things. Yeah, thank you so much. I think it takes around like 20 seconds or so to reach YouTube. Okay. Okay. All right. Machine learning short summary again. Basically, machine learning from data, right? A hardware, basically, instead of people writing logic, we let the machine learn the logic by itself or infer the logic by itself by looking at the data over and over. That's machine learning. Okay. So in the rule-based programming, here people are writing logic. In machine learning, the people wrote the logic so that the logic can learn the logic. Okay. So yeah, like that. Okay. Because machine learning is also essentially coded by human. Okay. The algorithms are designed by human. The launching of code is done by human. But the figuring out what to do, like in case of Mario, the one that example I showed, right? In Mario, nobody taught it like what is gravity, when to move when something is coming. Nobody taught it. It just learned by itself by playing over and over, observing whether certain actions are giving the score up or down and so on. Okay. And the hardware is essentially like the wheels, let's say you're building a robot, you might need wheels, you might need basically chassis people call it, And then you might need sensors, you might need basically motors, you might need all kinds of hardware in order to build robots, and so on. Okay. Similarly, you need lots of software, you need sensors. Think of a self-driving car. What all it needs all the hardware along with sensors and everything, and then it needs software. Some part of that software will be coded by people, some part will be learned from the data, and some part, and the learning from the data is called machine learning. And out of that, some part could be the neural network. Like, for example, given a photo, figure out who all are there in that photo, right? That is machine learning and deep learning. Okay. All right. Now, a couple of philosophical things, I'm going to talk about. Now, you might be thinking that why the use case of machine learning are so many. If you see every domain as of today, starting with climate change, starting with going to mechanical engineering, biotechnology, everywhere there is a machine learning. Everywhere, whether it's NASA or whether it's agriculture, everywhere there's a machine learning. Why? Why is there a use case of machine learning in every field or every human sciences? Anyone? Why there are so many use cases in every field? Okay. The answer is that every industry is trying to predict. Every industry is trying to predict something. Like, for example, manufacturing industry is trying to predict which products to manufacture, which process optimization to be done, what price of product to be kept. Agriculture industry is trying to predict which crops to grow, what would be the price of the output or produce, what process to follow. Healthcare industry is trying to predict the disease based on the symptoms. And you can say clearly that every industry is trying to predict. And also, if you take a look at how people think, we ourselves are trying to predict every millisecond of our life. I'm trying to predict what next word to speak. I'm trying to predict what next thoughts should I speak upon. You must be thinking, you must be trying to predict what angle should I listen to this lecture so that you can hear it more clearly, right? And so on. As well as you might be trying to predict what question to ask right now. Okay. So essentially, the role of the brain is to predict next movement. When we walk, we want to predict which step to take, what body part to move, how much, how to balance ourselves. For all of that, we are just trying to predict, correct? So prediction is the primary role of the brain for survival. And industries, tools, or techniques are all reflection of same, right? And essentially, that's one of the reasons why machine learning is so important. So machine learning is essentially doing the same thing. The way brain looks at the past experiences and then it starts predicting the next steps. Similarly, the machine learning models also learn from the data and then they also start predicting next, right? So essentially, it's how we define the intelligence. Okay. This is how we define the intelligence. Now, there's a lot of AI at scale. One of the biggest things that has changed the entire world and, restored the belief in AI is ChatGPT. Before ChatGPT came in, we thought that it won't go beyond or it won't have this kind of impact. But the moment ChatGPT came in, everybody has realized that the world has changed, right? So it has It gives you the responses like human. Those who have not tried, you should try ChatGPT. Okay. Chat represents chat, and GPT represents what? Generative pre-trained transformer models. Okay. So we have one chapter on GPT and ChatGPT as part of our courses. Okay. Those who have attended my past courses before the ChatGPT came in, so they must have learned about transformers and generative models as part of my course already. Okay. So it's not that after ChatGPT came in, we included this. We already had all of these ideas into our courses. Okay. All right. So you can see that ChatGPT gives wonderful responses and lots of meaningful things. Even it knows about CloudxLab and has an understanding of what exactly we do. You can also get it to write all kinds of songs and poems. And you can also do complex programming. Okay. And it is really good with programming as well. Now Google uses AI assistant for the web. Uber does almost everything with machine learning. If you take a look at every part of Uber, it's essentially machine learning. If you take a look at Amazon, right? Or let me finish the Uber thought. At Uber, almost every feature, like what price to show for which which car, which car is most optimum for this person, what kind of trips people take most often, what kind of package deal should we come up with, what kind of what should we do so that we can improve the experience of the user. All of that logic is figured out using machine learning, and that's important. Okay. So Netflix is improving the video quality and so on. Similarly, there's a music generation with a neural network. And I want to walk you through this typical workflow of building an ML model. First of all, if you think about how does the AI happen in the industry, right? Like AI, like ChatGPT or this Uber model, or even Amazon. If you go to Amazon, the price, the title, the placement, almost everything is figured out using the machine learning, meaning all of this is figured out using the data. And for that to happen, what you need data. So the entire story starts with data. Data is gathered by recording. When you are, let's say, visiting somebody's website, the website would make a note that this such person came to this website from this IP address and this time, and he visited this URL, and then he or she took these actions. So the website keeps on making a note of it. That's the data generation. Each and every aspect of the user, you need to record so that you can serve them better later. Right? So this gathering of data is a big chunk of the problem. This problem is usually solved using data engineering, right? Data engineering, there are new sets of databases which runs using hundreds of machines, and they can store petabytes of data comfortably. Think of Facebook storing all the data somewhere, right? So that is done using the big data engineering, right? That's where the story starts. Story starts with storing and managing data and being able to process that data. Okay. Then comes the next part. We do the basic analytics on this humongous data. For doing this kind of large-scale processing of data, we need new set of tools. New set of tools like Spark or Hadoop or many kind of other things, right? After the basic cleaning of the data comes the basic analysis, and this is also done. So this part is essentially part of data engineering. So data engineering is feeding into the machine learning, because machine learns from data, and data needs to be well crafted, well cleaned, well formatted, and available in unbiased form, right? So data engineering feeds the data to the machine learning. Machine learning, basically here we use algorithm so that the algorithm can learn from the data and figure out what to do next, right? This is again done using ML, Lab, GraphX, scikit-learn, and R, a combination of multiple tools. Then comes the optimizing ML algorithm. This is where deep learning and knowledge of deep learning comes into play. And once you have built all of this, you take your system to production. For this, you need software engineering, and also you need DevOps. Okay, you must have seen developer operations, right? Whereby how do you take your software to servers? How do you deploy it? How do you run it? How do you monitor it? You do all of that. So building website, building web application, taking it to production, all of that comes into this. So this is standard software engineering, DevOps, and you can say backend engineering or system design. This is machine learning, deep learning. This is data engineering. Okay, and entire thing is basically software engineering. Okay, so this is a typical flow of a machine learning based organization, or machine learning workflow in an organization. Okay, and let me briefly walk you through the career in data science. The first one is, these are the various careers, and every new day a new career is coming up. Okay, but whatever you are learning as part of this course is basically something that will help you solve problems, and you will be able to play multiple roles in the organization wherever you join. Okay, so there is data analyst, there is ML engineer, there is data scientist, there is ML researcher, etc. So the first and foremost is the data analyst. You should know a programming language. You should basically do the basic data analysis library, so that given the data, you should be able to say, okay, this data has these many people under this, let's say you are analyzing some data and you have to figure out the distribution of people in various age groups. So for that, you should know the basic analysis, right? And you should have an understanding of statistics, basics of probability, and this much you all know. So don't worry. If you have finished up to grade 10, you are all good with most of this statistics, probability, and you're all set to move ahead. Okay, so so data analyst, basically somebody who can analyze data using collect, clean, analyze large sets of data, and you can create with visualization, and you can also provide the data-driven recommendations. Okay, so essentially, data analyst, the necessary libraries are, say, Python, SQL, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. You should know basics of mathematics, and you should know basics of theoretical analysis. This is where our course starts. Our course starts with this. Then the next stage is machine ML engineer. You should know a bit of calculus, you should know a bit of linear algebra, ML concepts, algorithms, and so on. Okay. And basically, you are responsible for designing, implementing machine learning models, and improving models. So these are the various necessary skills which I've already outlined. Okay. The next one is the data scientist. And all of this is covered as part of our course, by the way. And then comes data scientists. Data scientists have both knowledge, like the entire flow that I talked about, starting from data ingestion to taking things to production. Data scientist knows the entire pipeline. So the data scientists need to know the statistical analysis, need to do large-scale machine learning, to experimentation. Though these definitions these three definitions that you see here are very, very subjective, right? In some cases, people with this much skill are also called data scientists. Okay, so don't take these things as, as a concrete. There is no international standard to define any of these terms, right? I have seen many companies just saying data analyst as data scientist. Okay, so don't take it on prima facie. What you have to know is, what are the various tools and necessary skills? What is the career graph as it looks? Okay, so essentially, this is what it is. The process of hiring data science roles is like basic coding questions. Then first is a screening round where you ask sometimes simple coding questions, or you ask somebody, give them take-home assignments. And then there is a interview questions where there is a project discussion, as well as sometimes coding question. And then involves like tech, again, medium coding questions and some project discussions. And then third one is involving machine learning based questions. And fourth one is a behavioral. So this is basically the flow of hiring machine learning engineer and data scientists. Okay, now we are launching this Python for AI course. The core idea is to learn Python by the way of applying an AI, right? From like all the exercises in this course are going to be around AI, and that's how you learn Python, right? There could be many ways of learning Python by just building a website. That you can also learn Python. But here we learn Python and AI together by applying Python in the AI. Like, for example, the first project will be an example of the project could be that you have to download all the data from IMDb, the movie database. And then what you have to do is figure out which actor looks like you. Okay. After going through, say, 20,000 or say 50,000 of the images, let the algorithm figure out which actor looks like you. That'll be kind of like the basic project where you start with, and then you keep on moving. So this way you learn Python as well as AI. Similarly, you will learn how to do chat GPT using Python. You will learn how to deal with, say, people recognizing people in a frame, how to build various kinds of AI enabled application. So the entire focus is going to be learning programming to solve AI projects. So most of the project as part of this course are going to be around AI. Okay, because what we realize is that we need, as of now, people who know Python, and they should be able to use these existing models to in AI and so on. Because almost every model is there are millions of models as of now to do lots of intelligence. Like, for example, body ML, right? So if you take a look at the body ML, not body ML, what is that? I'll say model zoo. Okay, so you can see that these are all models available. Even if you do not know machine learning, you do not want to create your model, or you don't want to train, you can just use these kind of models. Like, for example, OpenPose, right? If you use this library using Python, you can give a photo and it can identify really, really complex things. Like, I'll just show you. It'll basically tell you the entire, all the body points and everything. Okay, all you need is all you need to do is learn basics of Python, basics of AI, and that way you'll be able to solve really complex problems. And that's what is needed as of today. Okay. All right. So this is going to be, we will give the certificate. They're going to be 10-week plus live instructor-led training, 8+ projects, 100 days of CloudxLab access, 10+ tools covered. and lifetime access to the course material, and there'll be doubt clearing all the time. Okay, these are the various kinds of tools that we are going to. These are all contemporary tools. This is what is being used in the industry right now. We'll be also talking about OpenAI, LangChain, and many other APIs that are needed for AI. Okay, so the faculty and mentors are people from industry as well as, and mostly from industry, who are right now building the systems. Okay, and it's very applied course. It's very applied course because what is needed right now is people who can control AI, who can utilize all the AI models in order to do the large scale things. Now, okay, so yeah, that's about it. I'll
Sandeep, I think muted yourself.
Yeah, you're saying?
I think you muted yourself.
Yeah. I turned on the mute purposefully. Yeah. Okay. I'll wait for the questions. I'll wait for the questions till, right, from everyone. Okay. Okay, great, great. Let me start with a question from Akash. Question from Akash is, how different is data science from data engineering, right? So data engineering is all about storing, ingesting. Ingesting means taking the data and taking it in, right? Ingesting, cleaning, storing, managing the storage, and then making the data move or transport. So all of that is data engineering: transporting, storing, ingesting, basic cleaning, and organizing. That's data engineering. Okay, and that's a big science, and I underestimated it in the beginning when I started my career into data engineering in 2012. I was underestimating that data engineering part, and when I started as a data engineer, as a tech lead into a large project, and I was handling around 200 terabyte of data, there was a lot of engineering out there, because it's like when the data becomes big, the normal rules on data does not apply. Like, for example, when I was in 2002, when I was working at DE Shaw, and we needed the data from the US in India. Okay, it's an interesting story. Everybody should pay attention to. And then we were trying to download that data, and we realized that every 15 days, our data is getting generated so much that we can't download that data in 15 days. Okay. So the pace at which we were generating data in our US data centers, or we were crawling, actually, we were gathering all the data from everywhere. The amount of data we were generating or gathering, we could not transport that data to India at that pace, right? So what we did was we actually, shipped a tape drive from the US to India, and we did that every 15 days. So you can think of it this way, that the plane was faster than the electrons, right? So data engineering is interesting and hard. Okay. Now, what is data science? Data science actually involves data engineering as well as machine learning, as well as data analytics. Okay. Everything under the umbrella of data and making sense of data is all comes under the data science. All right. Good question. All right. Recently, there is one question from somebody. Recently, I heard of prompt engineering. How does it relate to AI, right? So prompt engineering is very transient, you can say art, very recent, but I think it'll live very short life because everybody has to be prompt engineer. What exactly is prompt engineer? When you are asking a question to ChatGPT, asking it in a way that it should answer the way you want it. It should answer appropriately. So you have to design a prompt. So ChatGPT takes in a question, gives an answer. The question that we give it in is called a prompt. And it's essentially completing that prompt. So the point is that the better you design this prompt, the better answers you will get. So there's a lot of things that you have to know. You have to understand a bit of psychology, and that's understanding the psychology and asking questions is called prompt engineering. In my opinion, it is basically common sense, but it is good to actually just explore what all people are asking and for which kind of prompt the ChatGPT is responding better, for which kind of prompt it's not responding better. So that's essentially is called prompt engineering. But the moment you take a look at, say, 10, 15 kind of prompt and take a look at all of that, it's just normal common sense. You will get it. And you should just start tinkering around ChatGPT more. Okay. And essentially, we'll cover that up in this course, Python for AI. We will have a chapter on how to use AI, okay, and using LangChain and other libraries. Okay. Now, there is one question from Hamza. Any other language I have to learn in data science like R, Java, or Python? Python is enough. Whatever you can do with any language, you can do with Python. So nothing to worry. Okay. So you don't have, if you are beginning, don't worry about the language. Just focus on Python and your life is solved. Okay. Don't look elsewhere. Just focus on Python. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Please fill the feedback form that is shared in the chat. I look forward to see you in my class. And feel free to reach out at CloudxLab at any point of time. My team and myself are available. So join me at CloudxLab. There's a lot of free content. We give the free lab. Just come and, start learning, right? If you don't start learning today, it's going to be late. Okay. So start today and start now. Okay. I would say that. Okay. Do not wait for any other motivation. Just start today. And trust me, things are not that hard as they seem. All it requires is just take your first step. Okay. Take the first step. That's all. Okay. So start learning. Come to CloudxLab, sign up, and start with whatever self-paced course you have there. And you can just take the CloudxLab subscription. It basically includes all our courses along with the lab. Okay, that's probably the easiest way to learn. All right. Thank you so much. I look forward to see you at CloudxLab. Bye-bye. And yes, I forgot to tell you one thing. You can block your seat for the course for just $9.99. And the course fee details are on the website. You can just come to the website, and I'm just pasting this link. You can block your seat, and yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And there is a PG certificate course in by IIT Roorkee. You should also take a look at that. It's pretty good course. And do not forget to come over to the discussion forum and ask your technical questions there. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. And please fill the form, okay, in case you want the certificate please fill the form and let me know how well did I do. Did I do justice to your time? Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.